People are saying Ram created a storm in the wrong direction when they came out with the Hurricane. Today we're going to talk about if that's true or if it's just some internet bogus. Now, one thing to keep in mind, this Hurricane motor is new in the trucks, but it's been in the Wagoneers for a couple years, in Grand Wagoneers. Overall, powertrain wise, the Wagoneers haven't really had a ton of issues. Some quirks, first year stuff, blah, blah, blah. But as a general rule, the big problems that the Wagoneers have been mostly electronics, things that aren't necessarily shared with the trucks. Now, it would be silly to sit here and try to say that they've been absolutely flawless and perfect. That's not the case, and I'm not going to do that. What I am going to say is that they haven't been nearly as bad as what people on the internet are going to try to make you think they are. I actually think Ram did a hell of a job with these new 2025s with some of the changes that they made. Some things that Ram was really missing. More standard adaptive cruise, lane keep assist, drive modes, several things like that. This is very subjective, but I'm personally a big fan of this newer front end. But overall, guys, this isn't really meant to be a discussion on the truck itself. It's more just the motor, okay? That's what we're talking about today, is the standard output and the high output Hurricane motor. That's the bulk of what we're talking about. And what's made me laugh is there's a lot of hate about people saying, first year this, first year that. Overall, they've been good so far. And when Toyota came out with their twin turbo V6 motor a couple years ago, and there was some quirks with them, what did people say? Oh, it's Toyota. When they come out with something new, it always has some quirks, and then they get it right. That's just what happens. But now the Ram comes out with something new and it has a few quirks. Here comes the bandwagon to just let everybody know how terrible they are. So we are going to go for a drive here in a second, but I just wanted to point out a couple other things. When Ford went to the EcoBoost, the twin turbo V6 setup, I'm sure you guys remember, everybody was just flaming them about how terrible of an idea that is, and it's a small motor working harder and blah, blah, blah. Now the EcoBoost is probably the most sold truck in America and has millions of people who love it. And there's going to be some who don't, but such is life. The other really impressive thing with these is the specs, right? Standard output, 420 horsepower and 469 torque, 540 and 521 for the high output. It is absolutely incredible the power that they're pushing out of these things. People are talking a lot about how everyone's going to miss the Hemi. There is one thing we're going to miss with the Hemi, and that is sound. You definitely don't get the sound out of this motor that you get from, the Hemi, by example. You just don't. EcoBoost don't sound like a 5.0, never have, never will. But I also assure you, sound is the only reason you're going to miss your Hemi once you upgrade to one of these trucks. The way these trucks go down and get the power, the way the boost feels, the way the motor is smooth, linear. That inline 6 motor has always been a huge winner. That's the other thing it's important to keep in mind. These are not a V6. It is an inline 6, just like, well, not just like, but same general concept as the Cummins. But I'm telling you guys, the way these feel is amazing. The power band, just the way it delivers it, how everything feels in the foot on the truck. It feels incredible. And once people get a hold of these, it's going to be a popular, very good option. And secretly, it's got some balls. Here's kind of a top look at the motor. Sorry if it's probably really loud. I'm not a mechanic. I'm not going to walk you through every piece of this. There's definitely ways you can check all that stuff out. But in short, sorry, that was probably loud. Anyways, in short, it's not an overly complex motor, relatively to a lot of the other things that we see in the modern day. I'm not going to say it's, a 350 old small block or something, but it's not nearly as bad as a lot of other things that we see in the modern day vehicle market. Not nearly as complicated. It's pretty simple. You guys should do some research, look into them. Let me know in the comments, have you guys driven one yet? Have you looked into them? Are you interested in one? So again, guys, I think a lot of the bitterness towards this motor comes from just being salty that we're losing the Hemi, which ultimately, losing the Hemi, it's okay to be upset about losing the Hemi. That doesn't make this motor bad, and I think that's where people are getting confused. One thing I haven't got to do with this motor yet, and I know there's people that have, is tow with it. I'm really excited to do that. I want to see how the engine brake works. Obviously, it's not going to be anything like an exhaust brake from Cummins or anything, but it's reasonably, it's reasonable to expect a reasonable engine brake from something like this. So those of you that have watched a couple of my videos know that I have really high hopes for this motor and the trucks overall. I think we're heading into a year where Ram is really going to kind of get back in the game here. They were really on top for a while. Now they've kind of fallen off. I think they're going to come back with a vengeance. It's just going to take you guys getting out there, drive these trucks, do some research, tow with them, feel them. Because once you do, it is going to be a popular good segment. Just like anything new, you know, it just takes people really getting a hold of it. And right now that seems to be Ram's biggest problem, is having somebody get a hold of one. So, you know, if you guys are Ram fans, you want to see them stick around, we got to kind of work together and get these things on the road. So again, guys, this was more just to talk about the motor itself. If you would like to see a little bit more of an in-depth review on the trucks themselves and what they've changed for 25, let me know. I work here at a Ram store. All we do is Ram and pre-owned trucks and work vans, so I certainly have kind of an inside scoop on what all's new and different. Drop a comment, let me know what you think of the new Hurricane, if you think it's something that's going to be here to stay, or if you think Ram really kind of fumbled the bag here. So that's going to pretty much do it, guys. Drop a like, leave a comment. Let me know if you think I'm right, wrong, crazy, why. Do you think Ram's here to stay, or if you think Ford's going to crush them or whatever. Let me know if you think they'll get back in the game. Let me know what your overall thoughts are on this Hurricane motor. Let me know. Thanks for watching. See you later.